Welcome back to In Pursuit 360. Today we're going to be talking about traffic stops. Why do law enforcement officers make traffic stops? Seems like it might be a simple answer, but there's a little more to it than that. Welcome back. Alright, so today we're talking about traffic stops. Seems like a pretty simple thing, but there's actually more that goes into why police officers make traffic stops and what they're really looking for, or what are they trying to affect, than what you just think. So, is it against the law to speed? Yes. So police officers make traffic stops because it is illegal to go above the speed limit. Yes, that's a very simple answer for that. But I actually had a supervisor one time that explained it really well, and I've borrowed his philosophy ever since in explaining why traffic stops are made, or why officers make the decisions they do, whether to write a ticket or whether not to write the ticket. So his philosophy was, the reason we make traffic stops, the reason that we write tickets, is to change the behavior of the motoring public. So if you pull somebody over for, let's say, speeding, and you give them a warning, then they're going to go home and they might tell somebody at work they got stopped, or they'll tell somebody at home they got stopped, and that'll be the end of it. Now, you pull that same person over and write them a ticket, they're probably going to be mad. They're going to tell everybody they know they got a ticket. So the idea is that if they tell everybody they know that they got that ticket, that maybe we'll change the driving behavior of the motoring public more, because now more people are going to be worried about getting a ticket. So the reason that we make traffic stops, the reason we stop cars for speeding and reckless driving, is to change behavior. And it really comes down to safety. The more people fly up and down the road, and they get in an accident, the faster they're going, the more severe the accident is. Perfect example right now with this whole COVID-19 thing, coronavirus, whatever it is you want to call it. With the highways being empty, there have actually been more reports of higher tickets written. So speeds in excess of 80 miles an hour and in excess of 100 miles an hour going around, and the accidents are fewer, but they're a lot more severe because the speed is picked up, because there are fewer cars on the road. So people are getting out there and thinking that they can just fly and whip in and out of traffic. I commute 55 miles one way to work every day. And every day I drive up I-95 through Virginia, I see a lot of these cars that are just zipping along. They're flying. They're zipping in and out of traffic. They're riding up on people's tails and whipping over and cutting people off. And there's only so much the state troopers and the county law enforcement can do in between. They've got other problems that they're dealing with. But I really wish they'd put out a bigger force out onto the highways and deal with these people. So that's the primary reason why police officers make traffic stops, is because we're trying to effect change in the driving behaviors of the motoring public. And it comes down to safety. We want everybody to be safe. Get from point A to point B safely, and without injuring yourself or anybody else, or even damaging your own vehicle, and have a safe trip wherever you're going, to work, out with the family, that type of thing. So another reason for traffic stops is because we just want to see who you are and what you're doing. Maybe we want to make you aware of an issue you might have with your vehicle. One of my pet peeves working at night, I worked the evening shift for 13 years, was taillights, license plate lights. So if I didn't get you speeding, as soon as you passed by me, I was checking the rearview mirror and I was trying to see, did you have a tail light out or did you have a license plate light out? So when I turned around to stop you, there were two things that were accomplished. One, I got to let you know that you had some defective equipment, which could be a safety issue. Also, it gave me a chance to just say hello and see who you were. Did you have anything else going on in that car? So remember, when you're talking nighttime, especially 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, most of the good people are home. You got some people that go out for late dinners, or they might go out to the bar for a little while and they're doing whatever, or they're visiting family, friends, and they're on the way home, or they're on the way home from work. But mostly they're home. So I want to see what you're up to. Where are you heading to? Then it would be very simple. May I see your license registration, please? I stopped you because your license plate light was out. and I would look at your stuff. I'd go ahead and run your license, see if everything came back okay. And if everything seemed normal, it'd be just a friendly warning. Hey, by the way, just make sure to get that license plate light fixed, or, because you might get stopped again another night, and go on about your way. But it was also a good way to find drugs. It was a good way to find people that were up to no good. And in your interaction with people over time, you develop an ability to kind of get to see by the way the people are reacting to you, the way they're talking or answering your questions, if they're up to no good, or they're just somebody that's trying to get home because they were over at a friend's house. So that would be another reason. So you're using violations in order to see what people are up to. The Unabomber was actually caught because of a traffic infraction, something simple. I believe it was a taillight out. So there's a reason behind all the madness in what gets done out on the street. So traffic stops are made, one, to change behavior, and they're also used as a tool in order to further investigations, or to make the community aware that we're out there and we're looking and we're watching and we have their best interests at heart. It's also a good visibility tool. So while I'm stopping you because you have a taillight out, and I stop you on a major artery, major roadway, any bad guys that might be up to no good are going to come by and they see the blue lights going. And when they see the blue lights going, it's like, oh, well, we can't do anything here. We need to go somewhere else. The county I worked for, Stafford, we had a reputation. Nobody messed around in Stafford. Some of the crime that we had was mostly kind of within the county. But a lot of the outside people knew not to come into Stafford and mess with us because we just didn't play. If we caught you, we charged you. We charged you with every possible thing that we could even think of. Anything in the code book that fit, you violated the law in Stafford County, we charged you. So people pretty well, they stayed out. We didn't have a lot of crime coming in from the outside. And part of that comes from that reputation that we have of making these traffic stops and being seen. It makes you seen. So yes, I may have inconvenienced you to tell you that you have a taillight out, or that you were going 12 miles over the speed limit in a residential section, but I have also let everybody around know. Anybody that's driving by, standing by, waiting to break in somewhere, anything else, the cops are here. We're in the area and we're active. We're looking for things. So those are the reasons, some of the reasons why police officers make the traffic stops. And yes, profiling is illegal. I never profiled a car, other than I profiled them for having violations, things against the law. You could go back through any of my records, and if I stopped a car for a license plate light out and I got marijuana or drugs or something out of the car, you could go find 15 other cars that I stopped for having a license plate out that had nothing, and they varied. Some were newer cars, some were older cars. We even had some of our cruisers that had license plate lights out, because when you slam the trunk too hard, if that filament and that bulb is hot, it'll break. So we stopped everything. I stopped everything. Didn't matter. New car, old car, beat up car, lowered, raised, didn't matter. If it had defective equipment, I stopped it. And they all were treated the same. Now, wasn't big on writing tickets for defective equipment, but I would stop you for it, and I'd give warnings. If I gave a warning to one, I'd give a warning to another. I didn't, just because you drove a certain kind of car, you acted a certain way, didn't mean you got a ticket. So I didn't do that either. There were no quotas. They would use your stats to look at your performance throughout the year. So it didn't say you had to write 10 a month, didn't say you had to write 15 a month, but it was just known that part of your evaluation was based on your proactive activity. So that kind of gets into a whole nother circumstance, but we would have some guys that would do like bare bone minimum and just write the tickets that they had to write in order to get their eval done. Their big thing was criminal, so they would go out and do a bunch of warrants, investigate crimes, get warrants, serve warrants, or just get warrants to serve that other people had gotten. But anyway, so back to traffic. Traffic enforcement is to affect change within the community, to slow down the motoring public so that everybody's safe, so everybody can get from point A to point B safely, be with their families, enjoy their time. And also, it's kind of an investigation tool that's used to just see what's going on inside the car. So anyway, hope that's a little bit of information about why law enforcement makes traffic stops, and why we look at things the way we do. It's really for your benefit as citizens out there to keep everybody safe, whether it's keeping you safe from speeding cars, or keeping you safe from drugs, or keeping you safe from crimes that have been or are about to be committed. We're out there for you. So, hope you all have a safe day. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe, make a comment or two, hit the like button if you would please, and let me know what else you'd like to see. Y'all have a good day, stay safe, and enjoy it.